And not everybody's going to join a gym and become the CrossFit Games champ. But something I hear from men a lot who message me is like, they want to get into something like CrossFit. They want to get into something like jujitsu or something. But they're like, they say, I'm going to wait. I'm going to get a little bit fitter first, and then I'm going to join. I'm going to lose a bit of weight, and then I'm going to join. So now, having the experience that you've got, and you coach athletes now, what would you say to those men? What advice would you give to the 40-year-old plus man about the best tips to get started with anything? What would you say?
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to, I think you have to follow something. The idea that I'm just going to get a little bit, and I hear this all the time as well. I'm lose a little weight, get a little bit in shape, and then I'll walk into someplace. I get that. You don't want to look stupid. You don't want to look fat. You don't want to be out of place in the gym. And the reality is, when you lose weight, maybe you lose 20 pounds, and then you go in, you're still going to look new. You can't get around being a rookie. There's no way around it. So being part of something, whether you are part of an online program or you go to a physical establishment, you're going to be new. You're going to be a rookie. You're going to feel everything that's associated with that. That sense of being out of place, all the emotions that go with that, the fear that goes with that, the anxiety of walking through the doors for the first time. It's going to be there. And then you realize it's not that bad and that everyone else there was where you are at some point. And they don't give a shit. They don't care that much. They don't care that you're not great. At least these are all the words that I had to tell myself. They don't care. They're there to get a workout, and they're probably glad that you're there. Normally, and I know that that's how you experience, that's how I experience when we see someone new walk in, man, it's just an awesome thing to see someone inexperienced, overweight, taking that first step towards changing their life, or their first step towards doing something fun. I didn't start CrossFit because I intended on changing my life. I started it because it was getting cold outside and I don't really like running in the cold. That plus Andrea saying, "Hey, I get a free month if you come." Like, that was the perfect storm. The stars aligned, and I walked into a CrossFit gym. But I pulled into the I would say it was a driveway, a parking lot, the dust pad of a parking lot of this CrossFit gym, and I nearly turned around. Like, I did not want to walk through the door. Then as soon as I did, it just wasn't that big of a deal. And then once you start, right, you pull the Band-Aid off, and that was 90% of the pain. Beyond that, it's forming the habit of doing this on a regular basis, whether it's 3 days a week, 6 days a week, every day, whatever it looks like. It has to become part of your rhythm. It has to be baked into your schedule, baked into your life. I'll say that, yesterday I was traveling, and I was with a group of fitness founders of all things. And we were pretty tired yesterday from a big hike that we did in Palm Springs on Tuesday. Yesterday was Wednesday. We woke up, and what was on the agenda was the world's toughest mile, which is 400 meters, 4 rounds, 400 meters of 4 different movements. It's very, very challenging. It's absolutely grueling. And the last thing I wanted to do yesterday before traveling for 8 hours to get home is do the world's toughest mile. It's the last thing I wanted to do, but it was on the agenda. So I don't think any of us wanted to do it, but that was the plan, so we did it. And then today, I'm back in the swing of things. And on Thursdays, I swim with a couple of my training partners, and we swim on Thursdays. So there wasn't a choice on whether or not I was swimming today. I'm sore. I'm so sore. I don't get sore much, but I'm so sore from the fittest mile or the toughest mile. But I went and swam. And tomorrow is a training day, and I will start that at 10:30 tomorrow, because that's my habit. That's my rhythm. Doesn't have to do with whether I want to or not. I will do it. And some days I can go in and I can crush it. And other days I go in and check the box. But I never don't do a day unless I'm sick, or I have to take a break. Those are necessary too. But generally I heard someone say, maybe I think it was an Olympic coach said to an Olympic trainee. So now we're talking like tip of the spear, like a type athlete, but if a third of the time you're crushing it in the gym, A third of the time you're checking the box, and or a third of the time you're just getting through it, and a third of the time you're just checking the box, you showed up. If you're splitting that at about, a third of the time each, that's normal. That's okay. If you expect to knock the ball out of the park every time you go to the gym, you're going to be set up for disappointment. But if you know that about a third of the time you might feel great, well, I can live with that, because that sounds more doable and more like my reality. And a third of the time, it's literally just hanging on and just, okay, I did it. I did this. I did this. Um, you have to master the mundane, and over time, that for me has created a CrossFit Games champion in this body, doing the same stuff day in and day out, leaning into my habits regardless of how I feel.
All right, friends, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Radical Health Radio. We got a fresh new podcast for you every Wednesday. If you enjoyed the show, consider liking, subscribing, reviewing, and rating us on your podcast platform. It helps to spread this message of radical health. We'll see you next week.